February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
Now to the Pacifics we go, where we look at how radio is being used by an international network of young people to create an intergenerational dialogue and to also share knowledge. Max Bale is the founder of this particular project, and he is here to tell us why it was started and how radio specifically is being used. Max, welcome to World Radio Day.
Hello.
What is EPOP?
EPOP is a bit complicated to explain in a few words, but I try to do my best. It's an international network which gives chance to the young generation to go closer to the elder for getting the feeling of them about the consequences of the climate change and the climate environment, all that stuff. It's, I think that we are actually in front of a real filler. Things are going bad and bad and bad. When we are daily on the media, we receive so many informations in terms of curve, percentage, and numbers and all that stuff, and it doesn't change. So we do think with RFI Planète Radio that it's right time now to get a new human component. And this human component could come from the elder, because they've seen the change, which is not the case for the younger. That is the pop to go to make a link with the last old generation and to give a new view, a human view about the situation in front of the consequences of the climate change.
Of course, climate change is a topic, a contentious topic, but a topic nonetheless that spans across the entire world. It becomes an issue that we all have to address. So why was your particular strategy to go the youth route in talking about this?
I just would like to precise that when we've started that project, we can say that there's only different words. The political and economic world, they talk, as I said, only with numbers, figures, and that stuff, and the scientists who help them to understand the situation. But at the top, you've got the human, the real world. We don't know words. When you go on the small islands around the world, in the Pacific region, in Africa or anywhere else, they don't know what is climate change. Each time when the young go close to them for doing the EPOP video capsule, the elders used to answer, but is it climate change? The sea level rising, is it climate change? The fish are going smaller and smaller and sicker. Is it climate change? They don't know a word about that. That is the biggest problem for us to give the possibility to the scientists and the economists and the politics to be fed by the reality, what's happening on the field by 99.99% of the population.
And was there a particular reason why you've chosen radio as well as video to use as communicative means?
Radio is a closer tool. On the economic side, for example, not everybody can listen to radio. It's quite cheap. It's for free. And that is the biggest reason. And after 20 years of working around the world with Planète Radio, and mainly in Africa, but also in Amazonia with the pygmies and the vulnerable people, we created the first pygmy radio in Congo, and we've seen that we didn't find any other tool as powerful as the radio for going deeper in the forest and deeper far to the very rural population. But now things are changing because the pygmies also have a smartphone with them. You cannot believe me, but that's true. You can be naked, but you have a smartphone. There's no internet network, there's no phone network, but you use it for making selfie. Like if you were calling a friend of yours in New York,
yes.
Which is not the case. But we were thinking about that, and we were searching for a solution. How can we help them by making a good use of it? And that we create EPOP. That is the reason why we insert the smartphone in the radio stuff.
And you speak of the different communities that you are involved in, obviously the Pacifics and the Pygmy people, etc. But these youth journalists, or e-poppers as you call them, from different parts of the world, are they connected in a greater network? And how do they then sort of share stories and a way forward in order to bring about change in whatever circumstances that they are in?
At first, I'd like to say that hip-hoppers are not journalists. I'm sorry for that. I insist on it. They're just human beings close to their relatives and just would like to pick up the story of his father or her mother, and they're not journalists at first. Secondly, they're totally linked. Actually, hip-hop is developed in more than 40 countries. So we receive what we call capsules, which are video clips. We receive capsules from everywhere around the world, in America, in Africa, and all of them comment the clips coming from other hip-hoppers. So it's like a huge family. And this family, that is the biggest difference with that project. I mean, you can use your smartphone for doing whatever you want, making pictures and selfie, whatever. But in that case, it's supposed to be a bit more useful. And you have the chance to transmit the story of your own family. I'm sure that when you're a journalist, you're asking me a question, I can lie to you because I don't know you. But if you were my sister, my answer would be a bit different. You know that. I'm also a journalist. But that's the reality. And the feeling that people, the way of they used to talk to the hip-hoppers is totally different because they are relatives. They are talking to the small children, so they say, listen to your dad. I have to say something to you before going, blah, blah. And the content, it's full of humanity.
So it's a level of citizen journalism with an emotional twist, if you will, because as you said, if I speak to my relative, then I'm sure to be far more honest, aren't I?
You're right.
We do have an example of what you speak of. There is a project called The Flood. Can you tell us a bit of background information about this piece?
This capsule, this video clip has been made by, if I well remember, it's in Fiji Island. And it was grandchildren, well, been up to his uncle, if I well remember. And this guy, this member of his family, explained him that him and her, because they were a couple of hip-hoppers, and he was explaining that the climate is changing so much, and actually the flood is coming 2 or 3 times a year, and they don't have any help, and they don't have any idea about what's happening around. And that is, for me, the biggest problem. Because 99% of the population in the small islands, in the very rural countries, don't know a bit what's happening around them. Because they just heard about climate change. They just heard about the fact that in Occidental countries, we have big cars and we are using so much petrol, that stuff. But in the small islands, they don't use that. And they are the first victim. That is what we create hip-hop.
Well, let's hear it.
This is the Marata River. Before, the river was that side. And the changing of time, the climate change, now the river this side. When it's flood, when it's raining from the forest, it's become a flood. My name is Sandauni Torirona. I came from the Solomon Islands. I've been living in Marata for 46 years. And the flood come down. When it's go up, sometimes the flood not following the river. When it's breaking from the shop up there, then it came down this side. So you can see the coconut tree there, and we plant the coconut tree down there. So when the flood come and take out all the coconut trees, that's why it's a landslide here. And now we are trying to rebuild it again. We take the bags, empty bags, we fill it from that side. Then we bring it inside, we bind it. Then we cut the bamboo. Then we put it here. Because the bamboo gonna grow. We need help from overseas to support our village and our people.
And that is an example of the kind of work that the EPOP network does. Now, Max, you've told me something relating to a competition.
Yeah, there's a competition, the first video clip EPOP competition, which will be closed at the 1st of March. So you still have 2 weeks for sending video clips, 3 minutes maximum, explaining what's happening around in your village. Ask to your grandfather or your grandmother. I'm sure they've got so many things to say.
I'm sure that they do. And if there are others who would like to become EPOPers over and above entering the competition, what's the process?
You just have to go to epop.network. Everything is there.
Max Bale, thank you so much for your time and the
It's a
hard
pleasure.
work that you do using radio and video for tolerance, peace, as well as facilitating dialogue. Now, radio can be used as a form of entertainment as well, but still convey a message of change and create peace. An example of this is Sergeant Esther, radio dramas for dialogue and peace. These are produced in South Sudan, and Sergeant Esther is a heroic policewoman in the community, and she's actually heard throughout the whole of Sudan. Sergeant Esther is a radio drama produced by Search South Sudan, and it tells the story of a widowed police officer who solves local conflicts, often around domestic disputes, corruption, and harassment. She approaches each case non-violently, and she uses dialogue and mediation to conduct her police work and make positive changes in her community as well as in her personal life. Now, here is an example of an episode of Sergeant Esther.
What proves that it is your land? Huh? No.
This is our land.
Stop it! People, stop it!
You threw the first point.
I don't care who started. Stop it now, but nothing. Violence is not the only way to solve our problems. There is always a better way.
You know, Sergeant Esther, we caught these land grabbers on our pitch. It has always been used by the kids. It belongs to the community, and the kids are from the community.
Yes, coach. Coach, you tell them
It's
properly.
a lie. It's a lie. The company bought this land and it belongs to the company. Where were you when the company bought this land? Huh?
My people, be calm. Let's not take the law into our own hands. Let's listen to one another.
This land issue can be solved by the authorities concerned only.
The company bought this land and Mr. Tai and his team should stop playing here. The company has the rights.
The company has the right.
Yes.
Let's see how it is going to end and who is going to be a loser. Mr. Patrick, this land was given to the kids by the community. So what? Now there is a big tournament coming soon that they are preparing for. Where do you think these children will go?
That is not my issue. The whole matter for your information is that the bottling company that bought the land is going to create jobs for the community. And it will provide water to our people at a cheaper price, Mr. Tai. Get this.
Hey! I am not going to tell you people again. One more time and I will arrest all of you.
Did you hear this, officer? Now, all of you leave this place now before we arrest each and every one of you. Mr. Tai, as the team coach, and Mr. Patrick, as the company representative in this land issue, you will come with us to the police station to record the statements. Hey, you there, make sure those two criminals are given something to eat. Bring that lady out to get fresh air. Drogba,
Yes, sir.
see what is going on as I talk to these two men.
Yes, sir.
This will be taped for the record. It's now 30 minutes past 3. What is your full name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Mr. Tai, or I'm also known as Coach Tai. I'm the coach of the football clubs in this community here in the suburb.
Okay, and you, sir?
I'm Patrick, the public relation officer for the water bottling company that bought the land from the local authority.
Well, My name is Sergeant Esther. I'm a police officer at this local police station. Tell me now, what happened?
Yeah. You know, my players and I came to mark the pitch this morning only to find this interloper and his workers preparing to put the fence around the pitch.
And what? Huh? Mr. Tai and the team are aware that the company bought the land and it has all the legal rights to use the land anytime. Here's an example of the people who claim the land is theirs and he's not part of the land.
Mr. Patrick, I am a son of this community and my work is serving the community. Being a coach of this local team is giving to the community.
What do you think I'm doing to the community? Huh? I'm bringing the community a company that is going to create jobs for the locals and water for the local population at a cheaper price.
Can you two stop your talk and say something that will help us solve the problem?
It is not the first time I met this man. We are from the same village, went to the same schools. At the same time, we dated the same woman.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Perhaps this argument has more to do with the woman.
Excuse me, Sergeant Esther. And Mr. Patrick, my marriage has nothing to do with the pitch issue. Keep your mouth shut in my affairs. Mr. Patrick, listen to me clearly. I don't want that.
I will not let go this time. Just wait and see what will happen.
You two are not helping me in solving this problem. Your personal matters are not part of this. This interview is over.
May I go now?
You will not. You are both going to be our guest here.
Huh?
What?
Do you want to arrest us?
Are we arrested?
I'm giving each of you time to come to your senses. Consider yourself lucky. I could charge both of you with disturbing the peace.
What do you think, Sergeant? Have those two guys cooled off enough?
I hope so. We have better things to do.
Okay. Should I bring them out?
No. Let me talk to them one by one. I have a plan.
Okay, Sergeant.
Mr. Patrick.
Yes, Sergeant.
You are still angry at Mr. Tai for stealing your woman?
He married her when I was away.
And how long were you away?
5 years.
And you expected this woman to wait? No woman will do that.
Maybe not.
Tai says he's willing to make a compromise if you are willing to.
Huh? He said that?
In a manner of speaking.
Well, if we'll compromise, maybe I can.
I will go and talk to him. Mr. Tai.
Yes, Sergeant.
Your friend Mr. Patrick is ready to make an agreement.
He's ready to make an agreement?
Yes. Are you? Or do you want Mr. Patrick to take all the credit for making a deal that benefits everyone?
No. You first bring him. Let us talk together and see.
Drogba.
Yes, Sergeant.
Bring in Mr. Patrick.
Okay, Sergeant.
Mr. Patrick, is it true that you are willing to compromise?
I could be if you are.
Well, Mr. Patrick, isn't there a piece of land opposite the pitch?
Yes, there is.
Excuse me, Mr. Patrick. If you are thinking we will move this pitch, the answer is no, and it will remain no. The land is owned by the community, and the kids have...
Calm down, Mr. Tai. And would that land be acceptable to your company? It could still build its bottling company, and the kids get their pitch.
Yes, okay. That will be fine.
And you don't mind playing next to a construction site?
No, I won't mind.
All right then. Shake hands. Go on. I have one more idea.
What is that?
I think your company would be smart to sponsor Mr. Tai's team. What do you say, Mr. Patrick?
Tell me, Mr. Patrick, what really changed your mind? Why did you want to compromise anyway?
Mr. Tai, it wasn't me. Sergeant Issa said it was you who decided to compromise.
Me? Yes. No, it was you.
That means that woman tricked us.
Yes, she did.
Exactly.
Now what then?
Now
we have a deal, don't we?
Happily
and the construction site is in this side, and everything is in place. Hey, wait. Ty and Patrick are coming together. What happened?
Thank you all for coming. And thank you so much, Mr. Patrick and his company for deciding to sponsor our football team. I think this is the best thing ever you have ever done to us in this year.
Sergeant Esther, did you get these two to turn around?
Oh, I might have played a role.
And that was Brenda Leonard from the oldest community radio station on the African continent, which is Bush Radio, straight out of South Africa in Cape Town. And it is still proving to be a platform that creates dialogue for peace and tolerance. That brings us to the end of the English Hour. Thank you for listening and watching. And of course, to my guests, thank you for using your academia and the love of the medium to spread tolerance, peace and dialogue. Elspeth McComnish from UNESCO's Gender Unit, Lugina Haj Yusuf from Rosanna FM, Dr. Daniel P. Aldridge, who spoke about his research article, Radio as a Voice of God, also Max Bale from the E-Pop Network, as well as Sergeant Esther's drama from South Sudan, which is invoking a sense of empowerment for women in South Sudan since 2015. And thank you, of course, for listening and celebrating World Radio Day with us. I'm Andy Leve.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.